Good evening, everybody. It's Mike here from Faraday Research. It is Friday night, May 17th, 2024. Welcome to the show. So we're going to get into a lot of stuff here. We got a regular panel. We got Mike Does, and we also got Philip on. Maybe Lulu will jump on later. Before we get into that, I got a couple things on order. I've ordered a highly conductive electrolyte, and I'm going to be doing some testing with my solid state battery that I've been working on for the last couple of months and kind of add that to the mix. So I've got that on order. It should be in next week, I hope. And also this week I started the Gerard Morin device. You can see the video of that at the Faraday Research YouTube channel. And so I got that. I built the box. I'm laying out all the components inside the box right now. I'll have to paint it, do all the wire hookups. It's going to be a really, really nice device. The Gerard Morin device is going to be really nice when I'm done. So I'm going to spend a little extra time to make it nice, and it's going to be durable too. So, you can put it in the garage or something like that, and it could take a bit of a beating. So, something that'll last. Something that's going to last many years before anything would happen to it if it gets dropped or whatever. So I'm trying to make a bulletproof type box for it, and so I've been working on that. I know Philip, you've had quite a busy week. Maybe you can get us up to speed on what's been going on with you.
Yeah, I forgot to say in the previously that the first thing I figured this week is obviously I'm more into theoretical stuff, but I finally linked time dilation with acceleration. So when you have, it's very simple. When you have a energy potential or time dilation difference,
Right.
then it's going to create an acceleration, and it makes sense because if you have an object with a speed v, for example,
Right.
and time dilates, then the speed is going to change because
Right.
speed is meters per second. So if you dilate seconds, then the speed is going to change,
Right.
and the delta v divided by the delta time is the acceleration. So the 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 time dilation will induce a force. A force is an acceleration, is the same thing. So it all makes sense. And
So, so would it be fair to say that the acceleration force is actually the force that dilates time, and essentially that's what you're saying?
the other way around, it's more like
Or
the time dilation creates a force.
right.
Yeah.
So basically, acceleration and time dilation pretty much go hand in hand together,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's more like in time dilation difference and or energy potential. So you have an energy potential is going to induce a force, and it's not a magic force. It's not. It's not. It's nothing. It's just a delta v on delta t. That's an acceleration. Times the mass is equal to force. So it's really easy, man. It's not. It's not. Gravity
Yeah,
is just. Gravity is just a.
it's a constant, I think.
Yeah, it's an energy potential that creates time dilation. Time dilation will induce a force, and will induce an acceleration, which is a force. So it's very very simple. I'm trying to. I started refreshing my memory with the mathematics because it's
Yeah,
not written in textbooks. So that's
yeah. 99% of this stuff will not be in textbooks, guaranteed.
yeah, that's the thing. So I need to use a little bit of some intuition, and yeah. So that's all it is. Gravity is a energy potential time difference, time dilation difference, or that induces an acceleration. So it's really Oh, it's very top level, and with that, everything else derives from that,
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like Eric Dollar had kind of a good analogy, and you can kind of really relate this to um, gravity. Is there is a universal ground or a universal point of reference? Okay, because the Earth, the Moon, the galaxy, everything's moving through space, and it's moving in a spiral action going through the galaxy, right?
yeah,
Now, if we were able to somehow create ground zero, the actual reference point,
yeah,
okay, this mouse has got a tremendous amount of energy through it because we're traveling approximately 280,000 miles an hour through space, traveling around the sun, and also our galaxy is also traveling through space as well. So when we're sitting here right now, everything is relative because we're in that motion.
yeah,
But if you take this mouse and suddenly you throw it off the train, it's going to make a hell of an explosion
yeah,
when you hit,
yeah, yeah.
right?
I agree with you because um, so you have the Earth rotates around the Sun around the galaxy,
Right,
the galaxy around the cluster
right.
of galaxies like around a supercluster in the
So
universe.
in every material matter that exists, there's a tremendous amount of energy there. And if you're able to somehow stop or find the reference point in space where it's zero, there's no movement, well, now you throw that object off the train to zero, there's a tremendous amount of energy involved there. Like, a coffee cup like this could probably wipe out the whole city of Toronto.
Yeah,
That's probably how much energy there would be, potential energy, because we're in relative motion through the galaxy and the sun. We're traveling around the sun and everything like that. So there's huge amounts of power in everything
yeah,
because we're in relative motion.
yeah. And what defined the absolute point of reference is the most massive object in the universe, and
Right.
I figured that we are in bubble multiverse. The invisible universe is much greater than the visible universe, and we're most likely into a bubble multiverse. And I've seen a lot of other people, scientists, are confirming this bubble multiverse
Yeah.
theory. I've been saying that for the last 14 years, but
Yeah, there's a couple of guys that had a pretty good kind of analogy of what time really is. Just think of it as pages in a book. All right. So right now, this second is forever. 2 minutes from now, that event is forever. So it's like pages of a book.
yeah,
So when you dilate time, you're able to shift over to that last page forward or switch over to the other page backwards. But that event in time is infinite. It stays there. It's a fingerprint in time. So like pages in a book. So I thought that was a pretty good analogy of what time is.
some sort of
You know,
milestone.
I mean, like time is really a human construct because we're in the relative time. We're talking together tonight in real time. So we're on the same page together. But 2.5 hours from now, you're going to be on a different page and I'm going to be on a different page. You see
Yeah,
what I'm like? Because we're no longer in physical contact talking through, the computer or whatever, or face to face. It's irrelevant. It, you know, it's really kind of hard to wrap your head around that, but I think I'm kind of there.
yeah, but yeah. So that was basically the idea I want to share. I want to link quantum dynamics as well, and to the point of linking that. And I was hoping to come up with some cool equations tonight, but I'm not
Yeah,
done yet, so I'll have
yeah.
to wait. Um,
Oh well, you're too busy, right? Get a busy week and then you get behind on some stuff, but that's
yeah,
just the way it goes.
Yeah, and other than that, like I was saying before, when it was not recording, I got interviewed by the James McConnell show.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
I got the link there. Yeah, I'm going to check that out definitely after the show tonight. I want
yeah,
to see that interview.
and yeah, and I got investors interested into my company, so things are gonna speed up finally. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's a really big thing, actually, to get you kind of kick started, right?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the Canadian National Research Center. They're supposed to support me,
Mm,
but I asked like a month ago, and they always forget every week.
right.
Every week I call them and they forget, and but yeah, hopefully I'm gonna have an answer early next week.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. Well, stuff like this takes time, right? It's
Yeah,
a big, quite a big endeavor you're working on. So,
bureaucracy is kind of
yeah, that too. Well, it's all part of the endeavor, right? Yeah, you have to deal with all the politics that are involved in this stuff, but it's it is what it is. You can't get around it. It's just part of it, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I found out some information. I was doing a little bit more digging on Floyd Suite, the VTA device, vacuum triode amplifier, and I found out who Floyd Suite was working with. And the guy's name is Gabriel Crone. He was born 1901 to 1968, and he was magnetics genius, to say the least. He worked. I imagine he worked with Steinmetz at that time too, because Steinmetz was a big part of GE at that time, and Gabriel Crone was working in the same vicinity as Floyd Sweet and Steinmetz, but Floyd Sweet wasn't around at that time. It was just Gabriel Crone. So you can imagine, the conversations that Gabriel Crone and maybe Steinmetz had in the early days. And from what I heard, Gabriel Crone had a lot of secrets. He came up with a couple of devices that, basically they suppressed because they were just too radical for the establishment, so to speak. So I've been kind of digging into him. His name's Gabriel Crone. He was a PhD electrical engineer. He was born 1901 to 1968. He was quantum chemistry genius. So actually, maybe even you, Philip, you might want to check this guy out, Gabriel Crone, Kron.
Do you have a link?
Yes.
I got a link here. Um, hey, Mikey, just let me. Okay, I got the link here. I'm gonna put it in the private
Gabriel
chat.
Chronovisor.
Yeah, really.
Right, the Chronovisor. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, Chronovisor. Yeah. Okay, here is the link for Gabriel Crone. I put it in the private chat.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Yeah, you might want to check him out. So apparently, Floyd Sweet was he was a protege of Gabriel Crone. So I think that's where Floyd Sweet got his expertise in the VTA device through him.
Okay.
So he was also a mathematics genius as well, mathematician or whatever.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I'll check it out.
And he was working on quantum gravity, so I figured that'd be a good link for you.
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's not very well known. He's just kind of one of those hidden engineers that, same with Steinmetz too. A lot of people don't know who Steinmetz was, right? And Steinmetz basically perfected everything that Tesla put together. He was, put in a mathematical formula, and when it came to transformers, he was able to balance everything out, make everything in resonance. So he was kind of the mathematical genius behind it. Like Steinmetz had, I think, well over 300, I believe, patents before he died. So yeah, Mellow Alchemist. Yeah, happy Friday. It's the long weekend here in Canada, the Victoria Day weekend. And I was kind of debating if I was going to do the show tonight. I was maybe going to take it off, but I figured, you know what? I'm going to do the show. So, yeah, so what's happening? The schedule for the show might change in June, just to kind of give everybody's heads up. It might switch to a Saturday night. Just going to see how things go. So I'll keep everybody posted what's going on with that in the near future. So just kind of give you guys a little heads up on that.
You might clash with APEC.
Yeah, but I don't start till 9 at night. Usually Apex starts at like 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and even if they do go late, I don't really see them going past 7, 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because they start such early in the afternoon, right? So it's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, anyways, I got a new job, so I'm going to be on afternoons, and the place I'm working at apparently does a lot of overtime, so the Friday night might not be a good night to do the show. I don't know yet. I have to wait till I start the job and see how things are going to go with that. So how the hours are going to work out, but yeah, so we'll just give everybody a heads up on that. So, Mike, are you there? Or he's probably eating.
Yeah, no, sorry.
That's okay.
Some
Long day for you.
McDonald's.
You eating McDonald's? I thought you were like the health. I thought you were the health nut.
Well, I get the beef.
That's not even real beef, man.
Yeah.
It's artificial.
I had the Burger King. What's it called?
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
Burger, whatever it's called. I don't know.
Yeah,
That
you know
did
what?
not stand me at all.
You know what? I prefer Burger King over anything. Like, I'll take a Burger King over McDonald's any day of the week.
No, Impossible Burger. It's like not really. It's not real meat. I tried one of those.
Oh,
That almost ruined me. Like ruined my life. Just one of them. Never had it again.
You're probably better off eating a veggie burger then.
Right, but by the way,
veggie burger.
Yeah, I've been to some restaurants and some veggie plate and meat plate. I compared the prices, and the veggie plate are as expensive as meat plate. Makes no sense.
That's right.
It
And
used to
you
be
don't
much
even get the
cheaper.
protein.
Sorry?
That's right. Unfortunately, you need protein to live and stay healthy. Protein is your main source of detoxing the body from toxins.
Yeah, I believe that too. I have I don't mind, the health thing, eating healthy and all that, but, I still just cannot understand a vegan. I really
protein's not really accessible, like they say.
Yeah, no, you need meat.
Red meat is the most the best
If you get
food
a headache,
you can ever have. It cures
you're a
you.
vegan.
It gives you energy. It's incredible what the red meat can do.
Yeah, they say 12 ounces a week is sufficient for good health, which doesn't really. Amino acids is another one too. But they're saying 10 to 12 ounces of red meat a week is healthy, which I could live with that. Like, yeah, I find that too. Like, if I don't eat meat for a long time, then my energy level's not the same, and I don't feel as healthy as I should be.
Exactly, same with me. I eat the veggie plate, and half an hour after, I'm starving.
Well, that's it, right? You eat some meat, and then you're good for the rest of the night, right? You don't go and snack.
Exactly.
So
I don't eat more. I mean, I typically don't eat but once a day, maybe twice, but it's a meat,
Yeah. Like, I tried to have, when I was working regularly, I would have, my last meal at, 5 or 6 o'clock. and then I wouldn't eat till about 11 o'clock the next day, right? I wouldn't even really have a breakfast. I would just have my coffee as I usually would because I was up really early in the morning, and then I would have my real meal at 11:30, 12 o'clock. So it gave my body a chance to kind of detoxify, like a mini fast. So
Nobody likes to kill animals for food. Unfortunately, it's part of living on Earth and our role as humans on this planet. Whether we like it or not, you can't have everything you want.
They started doing lab-grown meat in somewhere in Europe, and they already banned it here and there. So, but
if it proves to be identical to at least not identical, but it has the same factors as animal meat for your health, and it's not causing any health issues in the long run, then it's a great thing. But we don't know that.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time until they reach the middle point where it's perfect meat.
yeah.
How do you know that producing that type of meat is not going to end up killing more animals than growing corn?
Yeah.
It's like
just
solving any problems by by creating a way to not kill animals.
Live chat's open, everybody. So if you have any questions for the guys tonight, feel free to shoot us a question in the live chat. It's open, and we'll just carry on. So I was doing a lot of research on Floyd Sweet's device, and I think Gabriel Crone is somebody that a lot of everybody should take a look at and kind of research this guy. He seemed to be a pretty big key figure in that engineering of magnetics and quantum gravity. Apparently, was working on. There is material out there on the internet. I actually maybe I'll put this link in the live chat. Yeah, so he was born 1901 and he died in 1968. He's Hungarian. Yeah. So he was a let's see, doctor of engineering.
Heck of a time to be born, right before World War One.
Yeah, my
World War II ended and the start of Vietnam War. Jesus.
Yeah, my grandfather, my dad's father was born 1905 and he died 1990. So he's seen a lot too. My dad's father.
Hey.
And at that time, Tesla was still alive and Steinmetz didn't die till 1929. There was some, J.J. Thomson, I think, was still alive at that time. Yeah, no, J.J. Thomson, no. Who am I thinking of?
19th century was the most active war century in the history of man, no?
I guess, as far as we know, yeah. Who knows? I think there was a lot of wars going on back.
Known history, known history.
Yeah, recorded history.
Known and verified history. You'd say I think the 19th century was the worst.
Yeah, I put the
worse than the Roman wars, I would say.
There's been wars since the dawn of time. Nothing's changed.
I was watching this documentary on taxation, and
I don't think we're over with the wars because I heard Japan is investing a lot into its military right now.
Yeah, they did a big boost in their defense budget. Apparently, they did a lot of work on their Navy. So apparently, they got one of the best navies in the Middle East there.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, they have a better Navy than China does.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Yeah. They have a more well-equipped Navy than China. And that's saying a lot, considering what the defense budget of China is right now.
Yeah.
But still,
China, they probably beat with quantity. Like, they probably have, like, more crappy boats than one great one.
It's all ripped off technology from either the U.S. or Britain or whoever, right? It's all ripped
It
off.
appears the French
Reverse
know the
engineered.
Chinese better than anyone.
Yeah,
The Chinese
yeah,
have one great boat and a bunch of crappy ones. That sounds accurate.
yeah. No, it's true. And then you look at the United States; their defense budget last year was $855 billion.
Wow.
Well, no, the U.S. is not Chinese. They're
Yeah,
not Chinese
no.
people.
I'm saying
We don't bluff. We
no,
don't.
I'm saying that's what the U.S. defense budget was last year. 855 billion.
Yeah, and every penny of it went into. Well, we like to think every penny of it went into the military budget, defense.
Well,
Defense
well,
budget.
the U.S. has got a huge army. They got a lot of planes. They got a lot of ships. How much does one of those aircraft carriers cost? What, $1 billion plus, couple billion for an
Yeah.
aircraft carrier? They're basically floating nuclear power plants.
Like
That's
$1
what they
million
are.
a day just to run them.
Well, no, they're nuclear powered, so they can run for a long time.
Food
But
for the staff
yeah,
and everything, staff them.
sure, yeah. All the fuel for the planes and everything, tanks, helicopters, paying the
From
troops.
what I understand, the Navy is always on the water moving. Otherwise, it's not a Navy.
Yeah, they're always in movement. They always got their nuclear subs secretly scouring the ocean there in
It's too
secrecy.
bad we can't put down our differences and just, like Reagan said,
Yeah,
settle our differences and stop spending all this money defending ourselves against each other and put it into our countries and prosper instead.
yeah. Yeah, I've seen a video today on it has to do with Bitcoin and BlackRock. If anybody knows what BlackRock is,
Yeah, it's
it's
the financing,
yeah,
deep state financing bank.
yeah. They're one of the three largest financiers on the planet.
Yeah, they finance Lockheed Martin and all the defense companies.
Oh yeah, they own them. That's how much money they have. They own them. Like these guys are dangerous. They are public enemy number one.
But you heard what happened at Boeing? There was a whistleblower that revealed that Boeing they just skipped quality check and stuff like that, and then the week after he died, he got killed or something like that.
Oh really?
You didn't
Yeah,
hear?
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's all like that. It's people get killed for money in these these types of companies.
Yep. Anything defense, oil, commerce. Yeah.
Well, what do you think is going to happen to me when I overthrow the whole oil industry with my new anti-gravity engine?
Yeah. That's if you survive.
I'm not going to make them happy.
I think honestly, some of this technology is really going to come out. From what I know, the U.S. Patent Office has basically cease and desist over 6,000 inventions.
Yeah,
6,000 of them.
That's why my stuff is not patented. But even if I wanted to patent it, it's so simple, and you cannot patent nature's laws.
Right.
You can't. I can't patent it anyways.
Yeah. And if you open source a lot of it, that information is now out there, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not. I got the mathematics open source, but I'm spending a lot of time explaining the core without the mathematics, so people understand the core concept that you can derive everything from. That's why I was saying in bold at the beginning of the show that acceleration is just a time dilation difference, and I mean, energy potential will create a force. That's all it is.
Yeah,
This is the core of everything. Everything
yeah.
else derives from that.
Everything's in a spinning motion. In nature, there's never a straight line.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, because if you look at nature, there's never, ever, ever, ever a straight line. There's always a
I can give
curve
I
or
can give a
spin.
supporting answer for that if you're interested.
Sure.
I can give a solid supporting answer to, not that it's a straight line for a fact or not, or a curved line or for a fact or not, but the curvature. I can give a straight supportive answer for the curvature. And it's so simple. It's not a complicated answer. It's just basically energy, right? It takes the path of least resistance. So if you try to make it go straight,
Yep.
that's resistive
That's right.
because
That it's not working. It's not moving in its natural form.
you're not allowing it to turn left or right to
Right.
seek a lesser resistive path.
Right. And that's part of the reason why most of my devices are all analog. I don't use any electronics in a lot of the stuff I do. Maybe the odd time I'll dabble with a speed control, but that's about as far as I go. 9 times out of 10, I'll actually remove that speed control. A lot of my stuff I try to keep analog as possible, even the switching mechanisms. The most I would use, like on my Renegade, would be a proximity sensor, but that's just for timing of an analog spark gap switch. So I find I get better results with it. The second I start using a lot of electronics, that's when everything goes wrong. So I try to stay away from the electronics. That's why I stay away from MOSFETs or um, you know, any kind of semiconductor. I try to stay away from it because, like you said, if you try to make electricity or a force go straight, there's resistance. But if you let it do its natural thing, you're going to find there's always a change in curve, and it's going to move the way it naturally wants to move. And I think
Right, let's say,
Tesla,
for instance, you had to send 10 milliamps through one resistor
right,
of let's say 10 ohms, and 10 ohms, anything more than 10 ohms, and nothing gets through because your voltage is 10 volts,
right,
and you need 10 volts can push through 10 ohms.
right,
10 volts push through 11 ohms.
yeah,
So if you have a 10 volt source going through 11 ohms load, nothing happens.
mhm,
Nothing. Because you need 11 volts to get through 11 ohms. But
mhm,
let's say you had 10 volts
right,
and you only need 10 ohm. I'm sorry. Let's say you have a 10 ohm line of path to
right,
get through.
right,
And you only need 10 volts to get through that. And you give it that 10 volts and you have that one path of 10 ohms. Okay. So that the 10 volts is going to curve through the 10 ohms in the form of heat.
right.
Okay. It's not going to go straight through. If it did, if it could, it wouldn't create heat.
Well, that's
But the resistor is not
well, the resistor basically starts the hysteresis process because second you get heat, that's hysteresis, right?
Right. Now,
With,
now here, imagine this. You got the same 10 volts pushing through the one circuit of 10 ohms. Let's say you create a parallel to that of two circuits of 10 ohms with the same 10 volts.
right.
Now what happened? Their current split into two directions,
Right.
and take the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
It took two paths of least resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's sending 5 volts through each line,
Right.
which is less work.
Yeah.
Hence less voltage.
Yeah,
because you created the path, the extra path of least resistance.
Yeah. The more pathways you give, or when you bottleneck something down, you're going to create a resistance there, and eventually
So
you're
it
going to get
proves,
heat out of it.
right there, that circuit, that basic, splitting the voltage between two circuits of 10 ohms, and the 5 volts goes to one 10 ohm, 5 goes to the other 10 ohms, but 5 volts can't push through 10 ohms. So what do? You drop it to 5 ohms or whatever,
Right.
Still, you're going to get the same amount of amps is going to split between the two lines.
Yeah.
Your 10 volts with 1 amp is going to turn
So
into
what you're
amp on
saying
each
in
side.
so what you're saying in theory, it's going to be equal throughout how many paths that you do.
It's just, those types of things, the circuits are basic examples with current, how it will divide amongst all the paths available based on the resistive qualities of each path
Yeah.
to its ground. Shows that the voltage will evenly divide throughout
Yeah.
all of that. And
I
it
actually
demonstrates the path of that energy does take the path of least resistance. It
Right.
demonstrates it. You see the voltage
Right.
splitting up. The energy is
Now,
literally choosing a balanced equation all on its own.
right. Actually, I did an experiment once. I just wanted to try the theory out. I would have basically in series, I would have a capacitor, say it was rated at 200 volts. And after the capacitor, I would hook it up to the light. So I'm getting the pulse power going through the capacitor. It would charge the capacitor up to say 100. I was getting about 126 volts, right? Now, what I did was after the capacitor, I put a 1K ohm resistor. What happened? I created basically a bottleneck. So when I sent the power through the capacitor, instead of going at 126 volts, it hit 170 before I was able to get that light lit.
That's because you had
So
1,000 ohms. You needed at least that voltage to push through it.
That's right. So what I was able to do is get the voltage of the capacitor to go higher than I normally could. So by creating a bottleneck there. Now the best part about it, the 1K ohm resistor, and I noticed, believe it or not, I wasn't really generating much heat. It wasn't heating up. I thought it would heat up a lot more.
That's 140 milliamps.
Yeah. So the heat was basically non-existent as far as I was concerned. There probably was a bit, but
1/10 of an amp is not going to.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I find if you put a resistor on the back end of a capacitor, if you want to get those capacitors to go higher, put a 1K ohm resistor, and it should increase your voltage in the capacitor by 20 to 25%. So little trick. It was a little experiment I wanted to try to see if it actually worked, and it did. So that was pretty cool. That's why I do so many, like what I show on my videos on my YouTube channel, I do 50 times more experiments offline than I actually show online, because there's just so many things you can do, so many things you can try, right? It's just whatever comes to your mind, try it. Just one after another. Just keep experimenting, different combinations, rewire this way, put it series, put it parallel, whatever. I do so much offline that a lot of people don't realize I do. And
Mike, are you still messing with the transducers?
Yeah, I still use them in the Renegade, and they've always given me a way more power output than I did. Like if I take them out, boom, I lose all my potential. It kills the reactance. It actually is one of the key component why I have so much reactance in that coil. So yeah, the piezo's are definitely a must in a reactive circuit. Yeah. I'm just like, if you use the real big ones, mine are like
you put it in parallel with your drive coil.
I've done it both ways. I've done it parallel and I've done it in series, and it still seems to work. The way I got it configured right now in the Renegade, I have it in series. But like, you'll know it's working. Like if you grab the piezo with your fingertips and hold it while it's running, you're getting one hell of a friggin' lifter. I'll tell you, it'll make your hair stand up. And it's powerful. It's a powerful punch going through those transducers. And I got the good ones, the barium titanate. They're about an inch and a quarter diameter, and they're like ceramic wafers. They feel like ceramic, but it's barium titanate, and they work awesome for reactants. It was a real game changer, getting the reactants high voltage in the system way up. So yeah, I'll always use the piezo transducer in my reactive circuits, always.
I'm still in the phase of building a stator to pick up magnetic passes, rotational passes
Oh,
of magnets.
I've seen a really good video this week. I'll probably post it in my community section. How to make a ferro cell, so you can put magnets on it and actually see how the magnetic field is forming around the magnet. So I've seen a really good video on how to build one from scratch. So that might be a project down the road, but yeah, it's really really cool. It works really good. It's
Yeah,
something
you mean
similar.
the green paper?
No, it's a ferro cell. You need two planes of glass. You buy the ferro fluid and you put about 20 drops of the ferro fluid mixed 50-50 with WD-40, and you sandwich it together, and it spreads open and makes a disc. And after that's done, then you build the box and you put the LED lights, two colors, red and blue, and you get those underneath, and then you build the enclosure, and then when you drop the magnet on it, it'll show you all the lines of force around the magnet. It works really good.
What I do is I just make the same width as my magnet and thickness of the magnet. And if you can get close to that, that's all you need. If you get any thicker, you're wasting copper, because like the rest of the fields are so weak, they don't even do anything, in my opinion, as far as getting into the stator, which is probably where I don't know, probably where the loss could be happening.
Well, if you're using like with the ferro cell, if you use N52 magnets or N42s, they work really good on this ferro cell. It really shows you an excellent representation of the field going around the poles of the magnet.
Yeah. Oh, the field goes around pretty large distance because of the magnets. It's big magnets, like.
Yeah, but the ferro cell it'll show you, like I was talking about last week, when you get the two magnets in attraction, you'll see that void in the middle. That is your inertial. Well, no, it's not the blotch wall. It's the inertial acceleration. That's what magnetism is. What we call magnetism in attraction mode is not actually that. It is the acceleration.
Oh, it becomes the new blotch wall.
It's the acceleration of the dielectric, or basically the zero void that shows up in between the two magnets. As it gets closer, that void opens up. And I did an experiment a long time ago where I had two Tesla coils not standing up but facing each other, and then I put the fluorescent bulb in between that, and the top portion of the bulb and the bottom portion of the bulb lit up, but right in the center where those Tesla coils were pointing, it's a black zone.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
like a black zone of no
it's
radiation.
counter space. It's counter space. It's what Dollar keeps talking about. It's counter space. So that's the same thing that's happened with two magnets.
Yeah, but that's not really an issue with building a stator. That's not going to be a problem.
No, but you could see where the energy is actually falling into. It's falling into counter space. It's an acceleration of the dielectric into counter space. That's what Ken Wheeler keeps talking about. And actually, I watched a lot of videos on him, and I've seen a couple of his demonstrations, and I'm really starting to believe he is dead on correct with that analogy of it. What everybody thinks is magnetism is completely friggin' wrong. It's the acceleration of the dielectric medium that shows up between the two magnets that forces them together. Has nothing to do
I'm under the impression if you get your stator in the right shape, the right dimensions, then you're going to pick up the maximum amount of field that the magnet has to offer.
Right.
And that's the key to getting close to 100% efficiency or over. You got to at least be able to do that.
Like Dollard has always said, he says, when you're playing with magnetism, unless you do it right, it's always going to be a losing battle. You really have to
But you get
know.
the stator. The stator is a representation of the magnetic field that you're trying to capture.
Yeah. Even having, like the
You
spinning.
get the stator wrong, and you're not going to get anywhere. You don't have the right. You got to build your own stator just for your own magnet. The magnet you're using. It's got to
Yeah,
be
whatever device
matching
you're
the
doing
magnet.
like I have a certain spacing that I put between my coil and the wheel on my Renegade. It's about close to about half inch to 3/4 of an inch away. When you get too close to that wheel with the magnet, now you're going to have the problem fighting lens, right? Irregardless of how good your switching is or whatever, because you got a metal core, now the lens effect is going to be there. So if you get just the right distance away from each other, you're just going to be bouncing off the field. What's that you're showing?
I'm winding a stator. I found the perfect round object to match the size
Here, let
of
me
the,
let,
the magnet in
hold
the
on.
pulse
I'll put
motor.
you on solo there so you can.
That's the second row.
Oh yeah.
This
What's the
bucket,
diameter?
I
So
don't know.
what,
It's a
12 inches?
primer for priming.
Yeah, yeah. You should get a lot of current. The current is generated on the diameter.
Right. Well,
Length.
I'm only going to be picking up on half of the circle on two sides.
Yeah. So diameter gives you amps, and the length of the coil gives you voltage.
No, this is a stator coil. This is not a drive
Oh.
coil.
Oh. Okay.
This is for picking up the EMF field coming off the magnet spinning.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Okay.
That's why I had to make it the same diameter. See, the magnet will be inside here.
Oh, how big is the magnet?
It's the one I put on the show last week.
Oh, the like the Newman device.
Yeah, that one. It's
okay.
The drive coil is a little bit bigger than this one, but this is just big enough to where the circumference of the coil will land will be close to the magnet when it passes, really close, without touching. And hopefully I can get it half the thickness of the magnet on the top magnet, because I'm not expecting the other magnets that are stacked under there to do anything as far as picking up on this stator here,
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna zip away for a minute for a quick smoke. You guys chat it up there, and I'll be right back.
And with that, hopefully the lens won't be enough to stop the wheel. It'll be enough just to create some current without stopping the wheel.
Yeah.
So if you're dragging too much with your stator, stop the wheel. Then it's
okay. I'll be back in 2 minutes. You guys chat it up. I'll be back.
What's going on, Philippe?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, a lot of things. Crazy week, like I was saying, and I was hoping to link quantum dynamics tonight with my mathematics, but I didn't have time. But I'll do that during the long weekend. You guys are having the Memorial Day at the end of May. Is that it in the United States?
Say again?
You guys in the United States are having the Memorial Day at the end of May?
Like the war, which war? The Memorial?
The Memorial Day?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it went off last week, no? Or a couple days ago. It was fireworks. Oh,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't follow the holidays. I'm first generation American, so I have an excuse. Yeah. Memorial Day is for the World War II, no?
Yeah, for the veterans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on a
Yeah,
Monday usually.
yeah, but we have Victoria Day here in Canada on Monday, so I
Yeah,
don't even
right.
know what it is.
It's in May.
Yeah, I don't even
May
know
Day.
what's
A lot of liberation happened in May for Europeans in general.
oh yeah.
Bulgaria too, where my family's from. They have in May was the month that they were liberated, I believe, from the Turkish Royal Ottoman Empire about
Yeah,
80 years ago.
yeah.
They were liberated.
It's funny because
These liberations that you're talking about, they happened before the war, just before World War One. They were liberated because the Ottoman lost control of Europe. They couldn't hang on to it no more.
oh yeah,
Uh, and and so one country at a time got liberated from Ottoman rule, and then the World War One started because the Ottomans were pissed off that they couldn't hold on to Europe. They were still spiteful over it. They lost Europe.
yeah. But I think that's why
They inherited it from the Romans, the fall of Rome.
yeah, I think that's why the German were pissed off and started World War II because they lost World War One actually.
But be
They got
careful, because the Germans, they were, I'm pretty sure Hitler was dealing with the Rockefellers and the banking
yeah.
money.
He financed the war actually. That's all
These guys, Hitler and whatever,
the
Stalin and
Rothschild.
these guys, Lenin, they're all about taxing the people. They're
Yeah,
just tax
the
people,
Rothschild,
taxmen.
the Rothschilds and the Rockefeller, they invest into both sides of war because both of them are gonna get destroyed and indebted.
Well,
Their debt is gonna.
The Rothschilds and all these families that are ruling class, they're ruling class because they promote putting interest on money that's lent. So basically, who was it? The king of England or whatever decided to do away with interest on loans, and so did Caesar, and he was killed for it. Caesar said there shall be no interest on loans greater than the original loan amount by 1/3 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was killed for it. That's why he was stabbed by all of his partners, because
Oh,
all
I
of his
see.
partners were all about taxing the people and on their work, on their
Interesting.
efforts,
I didn't know.
which is kind of dirty because you think about it, you're not supposed to get interest on money you lend. You know
Yeah, it's
either the money you lent is paid back, or the collateral that was put up for the loan
yeah.
is given to you.
Did
But
you
you don't
know
get
that?
interest. You don't
Did
get
you know?
interest.
Did you
You
know
get
that
the collateral.
yeah. Did you know that it's not. I'm not a big religious fan of the Sharia law, but according to the Sharia law, it's illegal to pay interest on a loan. So they got that right for. I kind of agree for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sharia law has a lot of. I don't know Sharia law, but I know Sharia law has a lot of laws that are not, signed at all.
Yeah, I don't know the
These religions, they create these laws. They don't religions. The West, the United States, we don't combine the church and the state. They're separate, and as soon as they're not separate, there's a problem in the country, a big one.
yeah, but
And that's
that's
we have
that's what
separation of
they're
church and
trying to
state.
do. That's what they're trying to do in Canada. You cannot have like a cross or anything like that if you're a politician or a
Yeah.
public figure.
So basically, any religion that has a law, when you tweak in, that doesn't mean diddly squat.
Yeah,
Because
but
we have separation of church and state. Your law has nothing. It means nothing.
the leader
Unless
of
you're
the
unless it's a state law.
Yeah, but the leader of the NDP party here in Canada is from India, and he has a big hat. Apparently, it's a religious symbol. So why is he allowed to have a religious symbol and we're not allowed to have our
Well,
crosses?
what I'm trying to say is about, religious laws that are created to look good. For one, they want to look good. You don't tax no interest on loans, right? That's how they look good, because they have a lot of bad aspects to the religious laws. Like, if you don't convert, you lose your head, for one. That's the most popular one.
Yeah,
So they'll do anything to look good, the religion, because they got a bad record, man, a
yeah,
horrible record. And that's why the United States of America was born, because religion has a bad record of killing innocent people. All religions. I'm not just saying, any particular one. They all have a bad record of killing innocent people. So the United States was born, and we created the separation of church and state. So there's no religion running this country. We should hope not.
um, yeah.
The state runs
well,
the state of the union, the state of the union of you know of working class people and homeowners and builders and whatever
but
union you have.
that's a cool thing. Is it the First Amendment or the Second Amendment?
The
You can
First
have
Amendment is freedom of speech,
yeah. Second one is you can have a
freedom of art,
weapons.
the right, not the freedom, not the freedom, but the right to free speech, and not the freedom to bear arms, but the right to bear and to own arms, which means the right for someone to give you a gun if there's a problem in your state of the union, of your neighborhood, your state. You need to defend yourself, so your neighbor can give you a gun, now, or you can own your own gun. That's what it means, the right to bear and own. To bear means
Yeah,
to not own, but to hold. It's not your gun, but you have the right to hold it.
yeah. So
You
that's the cool
understand?
thing because they kind of
It's a necessary evil.
they kind of anticipated that the government can turn your back against the can turn their back against the citizen
Yeah,
like they're doing in Canada.
right. We don't, Americans do not answer to our government. We answer to God,
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing
whatever
here
that
in
is to
Canada.
anybody.
In
That's who
Canada,
we answer.
it's kind of a the government here is kind of a poison ivy plant that grows very slowly, and
Yeah.
Well, we do answer to government, but we don't
over
have to.
the years, we lose these types of privileges,
You have the
and
right
we
to,
lose
yeah,
the tax
Yep.
increases, the rent
the levy.
increases, and after 20 years,
You
it's like
have we have the right to levy our own government, the way our government levies us.
Yep.
yeah,
Everything the government can do to us, we can do because we are the government. We, the people. So whatever the government
We're
does
supposed
to
to be.
the people can do to the government.
We're
Goes both
supposed to
ways.
be. We're
Nobody's
supposed to
immune
be.
here. We're all
But
equal.
but yeah, but if you talk to somebody on Wall Street, that would disagree with you. Their
You have
viewpoint is
your instances that yeah, well, those are Wall Street is not America.
no, they're the globalist. They're the ones that want to
They're
rule
definitely
everything.
not, what do you call it, the patriotic America or whatever. They're not.
They
They're
don't care
Wall Street.
about it.
They're gamblers.
Yeah, they do. They gamble with the taxpayers' dollars, and time and time again, and they lose a whole bunch of money, and who flips the bill for it is the taxpayer. They're the ones getting screwed in
Yep.
the end.
And until the taxpayer starts running for office, that's not going to change.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big rabbit hole right there. You could do a whole show on that one. Yeah, the stuff I hear that what BlackRock wants to do, and all these multinational corporations, but it's not pretty, and it's not going to
It's
really end
it's
well.
sad because the financial capabilities of the people of Earth is just unlimited. There is no limit to what we can do financially and you know, not just
just make
financially,
the
but like
calculation.
it entirely. It's a progressive to progress into the future or whatever. It's no limit, but
Just make the calculation. Every citizen have at least $100 of interest rate on their credit card every month.
Yep.
yeah, that's how they put limits on our progress. That's what I was
Yeah.
getting at. They
So
create the
just
limit. They create a
multiply.
limit for us.
Well,
Just
see, I
multiply
heard
that
some.
by the
Taxes,
population.
insurance, they more and more limits to hold us down from our
See, the problem,
capabilities.
what I heard was where it all started is this fractional banking system where they could basically, you know,
Yeah,
borrow money,
that's one kind of
borrow
tax
money.
right there. It's another
They
tax.
they can lend out money that does not exist.
Right.
Oh, we got Lulu
They're
here.
making money off of your credit,
Hey,
not their
Hi,
credit.
sorry, I'm late.
Hi, Lulu.
it's okay.
Hi.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you know, the fractional banking system, the way they have it set up, it's destined to fail. You can only run a Ponzi scheme so long. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, it's not going to end good, and it's going to be bad for the entire planet as a whole. And hopefully, we don't blow ourselves up in the process.
Going back to what I was saying about our capabilities to succeed on this planet, it's not a question. We've already done it, and to go past success is not even a question either. We create that barrier, okay? Like you got 10 gold coins, and someone you don't know heard that you got 10 gold coins, and they're going to use you as credit to do business somewhere else. Use your name, you know what I mean? And that's a tax.
Yeah.
That's another form of a tax. And and insurance is a tax. Fuel for your vehicle is tax.
It's all part of
all
it.
these things.
And then you have the tax on the tax you already paid on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all designed to keep your wealth down so you can't build to a point where you support yourself without needing to buy outside resources.
Yeah, they just want everybody in bondage with the bank.
Right. They want you to be a consumer. If you can support yourself because you got to a point where you can evolve and progress, you can light up the night and do your work at night, and then you don't have to buy fuel anymore because you learned how to make it out of wood and fire and some tubes or whatever it is, or you made a synthetic chemistry to make synthetic fuel or whatever. And there's people who've done things like that to get past being a consumer, to not be a consumer anymore, to be a producer.
Yeah.
See, that's what they're keeping us from becoming producers, because each and every one of us has a brain for chemistry and science, and whether they like it or not,
Yeah, well, like I said before, they have over 6,000 patents in the U.S. Patent Office that have been suppressed.
Any one of us can make our own hydro fuel.
Yeah, like they had gas. Apparently, this guy invented this gas back in, I believe it was the late 70s. It was called Anafuel. And it's basically a tablet with a little bottle of nap, they called it. And you pour that into the tank, put the one pill in.
Nap.
And then, it's called nap.
That.
Yeah, so you pour the nap in, put the pill into the tank, and then you get your garden hose and you fill up your tank with water, start up your engine, and drive away.
Yeah, maybe some type of chemistry where it knocks the oxygen, off.
And apparently, when this fuel burns, it brings the emissions to zero.
Maybe you can, it make the oxygen inert, so it just disconnects from the hydrogen and drops right off.
This technology has been invented a long time ago, but the patent office is hell bent if we all ever get our hands on it.
So it's
separate. Well, that's just
water molecule.
Yeah, it's separation, and it basically, from what I've heard, all the CO2, hydrocarbons, all that stuff go to zero.
Well, here's the thing: for about 25 to 50 grand, depending on how resourceful you are, you can build your own solar, hydro fuel cell plant in your backyard, taking up maybe 50 square feet to make your own, hydrogen compressed into a liquid and put it into your gas tank and drive your car.
Yeah, well,
All you need is water and a fuel cell and
there is safer methods of storing hydrogen, and it's called a metal hydride, and they use that in nuclear bombs. So they made that material licensed. You cannot purchase it in the private sector. Well, yeah, if we had that material, now we could store hydrogen in the car safely, but they don't want that material to come out.
I'm still not convinced that liquid hydrogen is all that dangerous. It's less combustible than gasoline is, right?
Well, if you put it in a metal hydride, it basically sucks up water like a sponge does, right? It's like a sponge. And all you have to do
what I'm saying is it's safer than currently what gasoline is, more explosive and more dangerous than liquid hydrogen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but see,
so it's not like a big worry, but
but you're dealing with pressurized container. You have to worry about a pressurized canister in your car. Like we're kind of already doing that with propane, but hydrogen.
The hydrogen.
Well, it's to make it. You have more capacity.
Liquid.
You have more capacity. You can fit more, right?
No, if you make hydrogen and it, you get some in a high pressure tank, and yes, it's dangerous there, but it's not in your car. It's stationary.
Well, if it gets hit from behind, basically, like the hydride
from that type of dangerous hydrogen, which is still less dangerous than gasoline, by adding carbon to it. And the hydride is more flammable than gasoline.
The hydride is a lot safer because you could actually shoot it with a bullet and it won't blow up. Where if you were to shoot a regular tank of hydrogen right now, you're going to be on the moon.
It's not like really that necessary.
But what I'm saying is that what my point is we do have the material science to make it safe, and the government
100% safe.
Yes, we have it right now, and they will not make that material accessible to the private sector.
You'll get in your car and it's got gasoline in the tank, which is more dangerous.
That's right.
As is.
Yeah, exactly. But they don't want you to have hydrogen because hydrogen's, puts the fossil fuel companies out of business. They don't want that. That's against their interests.
No,
right?
Of course. And not only that, you could still do that even if they don't want you to do that. But it'll cost the average man $50,000, about maybe more. And how many people can afford that? Nobody,
Bob Lazar had this technology already down 30 years ago. He was driving
my point is they make sure you can't get to that point where you can spend $50,000 building a plant to make your own fuel for your car.
Well, he had his own hydrogen generator at home, hooked it up to a solar panel. It was about the size of a washer, right? And he made his own hydrogen at home. He was able to get the hydride material from the manufacturer for R&D purposes. So he was able to get a hold of a tank.
That's like a limited resource. That's not something that's going to be where you can do it.
But the point is, you don't have to go to a gas station and fill up. You can fill up at home using solar power.
One time I got a pamphlet from the gas company, and in this pamphlet they had this diagram that said natural gas, the one that runs, as in your utility lines in your homes. Its byproduct is gasoline. Like if under certain pressure or heat, it turns into gasoline. So I was thinking, could everybody have that, a compression chamber in their backyard and pump gasoline into their car, and
what's crazy though? What's even crazier than going all that way with the hydrogen is that compressed air is even more efficient.
Yeah, there was a French guy
and an air compressor and a tank, and you run your house and your car. Yeah,
there was a guy in France.
Brazil does compressed air.
Yeah, in France, a guy invented France. There was an engineer in France. Yep, and it worked.
Runs your car.
Yep.
Pushes the piston.
So there's tons of stuff out there that you could do as an alternative. There's so many options.
Air is free. All you need is a solar energy and a pump, and you store your air and you pressurize it. And there's no gases other than air. And gee, there you have your free energy from the sun, turn it into compressed air to push your generator
Yep.
in your house and
Yep.
to push your car straight off the pressure of the air, no generator. Just
Yep.
put the pressure of the air into your intake manifold.
Yep. Or you get your Stirling engine, you use a parabolic mirror, use the sun, and you can generate power that way too.
Right, and there's a lot. I'm not saying there's easier ways than doing it the chemical chemistry and the solar and the fuel cell way and the hydrogen gases and liquids. There's
Yep.
easier ways than that of going off grid.
Yeah, there was quite a few guys that came up with carburetors that were getting like hyper efficiencies, and the one guy, his thing was bought out by Shell Gas, and obviously it was put on a shelf and to never be seen again. And the guy basically cashed in large, and never to be seen again. He made a carburetor. It's able to do something like 200 miles to the gallon or something.
That's the Pogue.
Yeah.
It's the Pogue carburetor. I think it's called the Pogue.
Yeah. There was a few of them.
It's a tube inside of a tube. And then
it recycled the used gas that was coming out, and then it recycled it back in.
It goes the other way out the outer tube.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the trick to the Pogue was the gas goes in one tube, out the other, in the opposite direction, and it's the opposite flow direction that creates some kind of a plasma in the tube that then conditions your fuel to be highly efficient.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure there was
the tube in a tube thing is for creating a plasma field, because the pressure goes in one tube and it comes out the other side of the tube going the other way. So you got two directional flow of gas creating the plasma field, and then that's where the trick is in the
so it breaks the Schwinger limit basically in transition from like gas to plasma, right? Wouldn't that be like?
I mean, that's the summary of the Pogue generator. It's basically what I understand is it's a tube inside of a tube, and it's the two directions of the gas flow that creates the plasma effect inside the tube. And then the plasma then is generated by the flow. So it's activated plasma now, a plasma field.
Yeah.
Then conditions the very fuel that's being burned and exhausted through the center tube out the outer tube in the other direction, which keeps that plasma going with hydrogen fuel. So it's probably
there's another guy out there, Malcolm Bendall. He's working on the thunderstorm generator, and he's getting some really good rapport on it. So, creating the plasmoids. It's like two ball chambers, and it's connected by a tube in the middle, and it's a ball within a ball. And there's a light involved and a hydrolyzer, and apparently it works. Bob Greenier's actually been there and did some tests on it, and not only that's super efficient, it's also super clean. So the Malcolm Bendall's working out of London, I believe, in Great Britain. So you might want to check that out. It's called the Thunderstorm Generator.
I've heard the name Bendall.
Yeah. Yep. So his system seems to work. He's building a bunch of units out for. He's going to send it out to a whole bunch of different companies throughout the world to do their own tests on it, and
Is for what? Making thunderstorms? Or?
Well, he calls it a thunderstorm generator. It's creating a plasma inside that double balled setup. You have to see it, and it's kind of hard to explain. But apparently all the CO2, the hydrocarbons, all that stuff go like really low or actually zero. So, and it's also increases the oxygen output, which is actually quite intriguing. So, Yeah, Bob Greenier's been there. He's tested it, and he says, "Yeah, it's the real deal. It works."
Who's the other one? Is it I think Tim Ventura interviewed him already. It's
Malcolm
Charles
Bendall
Charles Bogler or
could be,
something like that. He
could
works
be.
at NASA. He created a asymmetric electric field capacitor, something like that.
Uh,
And
I'm
it
not.
creates
I haven't heard about that.
yeah, it creates a trust, but he's able to create 1G actually.
Wow.
So
Wasn't that Pogue generator? I think he was getting like 80 miles or 100 miles to the gallon or 120.
Yeah, there was another one called the PAP engine. That was another
Yeah, that's
good
it.
one.
The PAP. I've heard of that one too.
The PAP engine, yeah, that is similar. I would say similar technology to the thunderstorm generator. Yeah,
I mean, that is efficient. 1 gallon of fuel giving you 120 miles. I mean,
Yeah.
how much gallons of compressed air do you need to get that kind of mileage?
yeah. As long as you can make a super efficient compressor to keep that pressure to the point where the engine actually functions, right? So, but there's
Right,
many
but
ways.
you can think about it. If all the cars ran off compressed air and they had a system that was so safe for compressing air and so small that you could just have solar panels sitting there with air pumps to
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
but
keep your main tank full, and you just fill up your
again,
reservoirs and go.
Yeah,
the best way is to collect or generate the energy somewhere in some central, and then you just teleport.
The
You know,
sun,
you
the
just
sun, the
just
sun, the
teleport the
sun
energy.
panels can compress air everywhere, all over the place, so easily.
Oh yeah, compress air, but you could just teleport energy to anywhere you want.
Yeah, the Geet engine's another one.
The Geet, sorry, I keep getting these mixed up. The Geet is the one with the
Yeah.
tube in the tube.
Yeah.
That's the one that I was describing.
Yeah.
Or the Pogue is another one also. He created
there was another one.
That's the
Yeah, another one.
carburetor.
Yeah, the other one was the PAP. That was a lot earlier. That was in the 60s and
Right.
70s. That was developed.
Like,
Phil,
those were giving
how
like
do you
60
teleport
miles.
energy? Like, how would you teleport energy?
You just convert
Like, are
high
we talking like
frequency.
lasers?
No, it's very safe.
Carrier waves.
Yeah, you just convert high frequency wave of low density into low frequency wave of high density back and forth. So you convert a gamma ray into multiple radio waves back and forth. Radio waves are perfectly safe and goes through material. So you can teleport energy. You can go through any walls and things like that, and you can convert it back and forth. And then yeah, it's very simple. And they
And the
got
range is infinite, right? Or
yeah.
No,
It
it's
still
got
goes at
there's
the
a
speed
range.
of light.
Yeah,
It
but
still goes at
there's
the
a
speed
finite
of light.
range.
huh?
It still
The
travels.
range in which you can teleport is go too far from Earth.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can create some sort of lasers, some sort of beam that goes in a straight line, but you are obviously you're gonna lose some the dirt, and well, it goes through anything, but the lower the frequency is, the more reliable it's gonna be. So you could use very low frequency waves, even lower than radio waves, and it's gonna more likely go through anything.
Like long range ones, like
Yeah, exactly.
okay, all right. I know what you're talking about. Versus short wave.
And you can use electro-optic modulators and stuff like that to convert the frequency into the frequency of photons, and they have other technologies. It's kind of developing right now. It's not really commercialized, but they already have R&D equipment for stuff like that.
course, though, you don't want to teleport your energy. You want to make it on site.
But I mean, if you can create enough energy you can carry on your own, then it's okay. But I'm just saying that there's an alternative.
I
I'm
just think it's
asking
the
like
best
if
alternative is
let's say
possibly
if a plane midair needs to be refueled, could we teleport energy to it? Like I'm trying to think of different ways,
Yeah,
applicate.
you could have like a carrier that the carrier is refueling nearby fighters that fly by nearby without landing, so you could refuel very quickly fighters that just fly nearby, or submarines, mainly submarines, because they have to stay. They have to be nearly undetectable, and they cannot afford to go back to fuel a gas station, anytime they want. So it's more discreet to refuel a. I mean, to keep a submarine very energetic. So I talked to some defense department about that, and that they were interested into stuff like that. So yeah, it could be more useful for that. But yeah, it's something I propose. But I'm still at TRL technology readiness 1 or 2 regarding that. I didn't test anything. Well, I didn't test the electro-optic modulators yet, but I know it's possible.
See that Tim Johnson there in the chat. Don Smith states room temperature superconductivity can be achieved at 200 kilohertz cycles. Well, I don't doubt that. I mean, it's a high frequency.
Sorry, can you say that again? I don't see the
Here, I'll post it here on the.
state room temperature superconductivity can be achieved at 200,000 cycles per second. Yeah, he's talking about the frequency here. I was talking about the wavelength.
No, but if you can achieve, if that's true, you can get superconductivity at that frequency, then you have free energy. I mean, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a regular, piece of copper becoming superconductive at that frequency, or whatever. No metamaterial.
Okay.
And if that's true, then why teleport energy? You have it,
but you need a material. What I was suggesting, he goes through the vacuum or anything.
Well, superconductivity is negative energy. It's basically if you can get your material to resonate and become superconductive,
Right.
it's going to conduct all kinds of things that are working around it in the environment.
Yeah.
Aside from what you're getting from the battery. So.
Yeah, that's why my battery goes into a negative state where I can't record.
Mike, maybe the transducer is synthesizing the 200 kilohertz, or maybe, I don't know.
Well, I know those ones could go to 41 kilocycles. So, yeah, that would explain why my battery is basically not getting pulled. It goes
these
into
high frequencies keep popping up no matter what we do.
Yeah, like because my battery won't die. Like I could run my system for hours and hours and hours and hours, and I'm losing millivolts of power. Very, very little. So if you get it in the right resonance and zero resistance or close to it or somewhere in the ballpark, then it's not going to pull power off the battery. The battery is going to sustain itself. And the more mass of battery you add to that equation increases the amount of efficiency. That's why Joseph Newman was using dead 9-volt batteries. He was using 84 of them to get 490 volts. They're all dead, and each battery can only pull maybe 20 milliamps. And not only that, it was moving a huge mass, the amount of power that he was getting back could actually recharge him. So that just proves it right there. So if you get into that negative resistance state or zero current potential, then yeah, you can do amazing things with the batteries, and you don't need much power. So mass, I think, is the key when it comes to a zero current potential system. Because if you're only pulling, say, microwatts off the battery, you got, say, 5 batteries in series. The battery's not even going to notice there's anything being pulled off. It'll just be like the battery's just sitting there on its own. So, pulse here. Let me post this comment here. Yeah, I've always been a fan of flywheels. Always. You always got a potential energy in a flywheel to make things easier. Yeah, definitely. So, any other things you guys want to share tonight, or?
I wish I could be. I wish I was done with my quantum physics equations, but
Yeah, don't worry about it. We're going to do it next week. It's actually the long weekend here. I wasn't actually going to take the night off, but I decided, what the heck, I'll do a show anyways. Yeah, in the U.S., you guys don't have a long weekend. We have a long weekend here.
well, they do. But at the end of the May, it's the Memorial Weekend. At the end
Oh,
of
May. Yeah, Memorial Day weekend, yeah. And then the next one after that's Canada Day. That's at July 1st, and then that's 4th of July for the Americans. So, yeah. Yeah, I can't believe
4th
how.
of July is pretty awesome. And in the United States, we used to drink on the beach in San Diego on the 4th of July and celebrate. That was pretty awesome.
No, it's really weird. For I think it was 2 or 3 years in a row on the 4th of July, I always seen a UFO.
Oh yeah, interesting. Here from your place.
Yeah. In Toronto, yep.
So you seen some?
Yeah, I've seen multiple. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them was totally crazy, to say the least. I could do a whole show on that one. It happened about 3:10 in the morning. Seen about 6 UFOs, like it was like a dogfight going in the air. It wasn't drone. It wasn't drones. It wasn't drones. They're at cloud level, and they would race from one end of the sky to the other end of the sky in less than 10 seconds. So yeah, they were moving super fast. It was right over Pearson Airport, and nothing was on the radio. I didn't hear anything of the sort. I actually reported it to MUFON, recording center that records all UFO sightings, and it was like a dogfight. The whole thing lasted, I would say, it was pretty long. I would say 7 minutes.
You didn't get a picture or a video.
I couldn't. It was too high up. It was too high up. It was too high up. They're above the clouds, but you could see them. You could see them perfectly.
You didn't have the camera for that, right?
No. This, yeah, I only, this going back, what year was it? It was about 2015, 2016 time. Yeah.
Like you see a shooting star fall down?
No, when you have 7 of them fighting each other.
Right? A shooting star, when you see it, you know what it looks like, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've seen many.
I've seen that, but going up. For the corner of my eye, I saw it go up. I was like, was that a shooting star going up? And it wasn't going straight up. It was going at an angle up.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's
the thing that was significant about mine is I seen 7 of them flying in the air at the same time, and it looked like 4 of them were going after the other ones, and I did see some kind of light shooting off them. It looked like they were shooting at each other. So yeah, that was pretty dramatic. I actually called into Jimmy Church and told him that story.
What the hell is
And,
going on? We got aliens on our planet shitting at each other in the background while we're, eating dinner, watching a movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
what the hell's going on
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, I actually got on the air with Jimmy Church one night and told him the story, and he's like, "Holy cow!"
Oh,
You
you were on
serious?
with Jimmy Church? Mike? That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I went on open
I
line.
like Jimmy Church.
Yeah, I went
I
on a
like his
show
show.
there. But I'm not like really big into the UFO stuff. I used to be when I was younger, but I kind of transitioned over to the energy stuff. So
But what the? I mean, let's say that they're fighting. What are they fighting over?
don't know. Good
I
question.
mean, it's not like they can fight. We'll discover them, and then there'll be a real problem.
It was the green lights against the red lights, and it
Uh,
looked like the red lights. They had a technological advantage over the green lights.
the Klingon versus the Vulcans.
Yeah, yeah. It
Gotta
looked
be,
like the
the oceans are more than 2/3 of the planet's surface. Excuse me.
yeah. I think that would be a perfect hiding spot for them.
Not hard to hide. You don't got to go far from land to hide.
Yeah,
Once you're in
apparently,
the water, it's not hard to disappear.
apparently there was a big UFO sighting right at the Twin Towers the day before 9/11. You could probably see it on YouTube. I don't know if it's been pulled off, but these people were flying in a helicopter and they seen a UFO flying in between the Twin Towers, and then one of them shoots off, nearly hits them, and goes into the
Yeah, I
air.
saw that video.
Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
that was September 10th, 2001, day before
In the
9/11.
helicopter, right?
Yeah, they're in the helicopter. Yeah. So you've seen that, yeah.
I've seen a video at some point one time. There was a UFO. The military tried to shoot it, and they sent a missile, and they had some sort of force field that the missile blew up, and then the UFO was completely unaffected.
Mm.
It's hard
Yeah,
to
it's-
imagine why they're fighting each other. They're so advanced. They have advanced technology. They still haven't found peace.
No, but I could find they deleted the video on YouTube. I couldn't find it anymore, but it was really cool. You could see it was dripping some liquid metal, but the UFO was not threatened at all by the U.S. military.
But they fight
Yeah.
with each other, And it's
Yeah.
like,
Apparently.
from my point of view, I say an advanced, species like that,
Yeah, but I
or
mean-
advanced should surely by now they've put war behind
If a
them.
cat want to fight against you, what are you gonna do? Just ignore it, So it's the same thing with them. We're like cats to them, so they don't want to bother fighting us.
Right. You don't jump in the middle of a cat fight.
Yeah,
You grab the garden hose, and that's all you'll do.
stay the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Water works good though with that. Those cats, you just throw water on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, tractor beams and force fields are very easy to. If you have enough energy, then they're very easy to create. It's just
They could be fighting. You know what they could be fighting over? Us.
Yeah,
us.
could be.
Yeah.
We're the
Not
prize.
not physically, but maybe with their flying saucers.
Our not us as a species particularly, but us and our civilization.
Yeah.
They're fighting over that. Maybe because they're so advanced, they can take over our civilization without doing it.
They could just kill all the human males and.
No. What I'm saying is they're that advanced. They can control our brains. Like take over our minds and manipulate us.
They can kill all the human males and leave with all the women
without actually doing anything to physically to take over the government. They can control us to behave the way they want us to behave.
No, but seriously, I think I said that before. But why don't they create some sort of AI?
The way we use HARP to control the weather
Yeah. Why don't they
or
create
whatever.
some sort of AI that takes over the whole universe? You know, they could do that if they're very very smart.
It's not hard to think that maybe AI is theirs. Maybe they brought that here.
No, no, it was created by us. It's very easy to understand. I studied AI before. I never really worked on it, but I
Well, why
did
does it have
study
to
it.
be complicated for it to be from an advanced race? Why can't advanced things be simple? They are. The wheel is advanced and it's simple. It's only complicated because if you didn't know what a wheel was, then it's complicated for you. But for those who grew up next to wheels and circles and see them everywhere, it's not complicated for them because they know what it is and what it
Yeah,
does.
they're
You
raised with
show the wheel
spiders
to the
in the car.
caveman, and it's like, what does that do? He's
Yeah.
clueless, and it's a simple. So why does the AI now, as you're talking about it, oh, it's not alien technology, it's simple. Because it's simple, it's not alien technology? Why so? Please, why? Why is that? I don't agree with that because, just because it's simple does not rule it out from being alien technology. I'm sorry, not at all. Why can't the most advanced things be simple? The wheel is the most advanced thing we've ever encountered, and it is the most simple thing we've ever encountered.
Yeah, but you don't need complicated things. Actually, I think humans are over complicating things. It's very simple. It's like the maths of general relativity. It's all some big complex mess. But if you use much simpler mathematics, you can explain everything. So uh, it's the problem. The reality is simple. The problem is us. We complicate reality.
We don't want. We're hesitant to learn. We're lazy to learn.
We're afraid of the
Uh,
unknown, so we think we like uh, we like textbooks and peer-reviewed stuff that somebody else wrote 100 years ago. But to use our intuition and um, core logic to invent new things is not
Yep.
something we enjoy doing. Apparently,
Yeah, a perfect example of that would be Oliver Heaviside. He tried to simplify everything that Maxwell did, right?
yeah.
And look what happened to him. The guy was they broke him down, they suppressed him, they wouldn't let him publicate any of his writings, so he turned into a recluse, crawled up in a corner, painted his fingers pink, and never wrote again. He went nuts.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah, he had they really did him in pretty good. He went crazy in the end.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He was
So
pretty
they
so
smart.
the
they
ostracized heavy side.
oh god, yeah, big time. Oh yeah. Yeah, he pissed in a few people's
Because
cornflakes
he
and
was making more sense out of everybody
right.
else's explanation.
Well, he was simplifying Maxwell's equations. If you look at Maxwell's stuff, it's super complicated, and
He made
some
it
of the,
understandable to the layman.
that's right. Yeah, yep. And he was ostracized for it big time. He went nuts.
I did
They
not
wouldn't.
know that. That's
It's a
interesting.
repeating
Yep.
theme in our culture. As soon
Are
as you're
his
gonna make it
equations
easy for people to
accurate
learn,
though?
they hate you.
Are his equations accurate? Like Maxwell's equation, like can
Well, like even Maxwell's stuff, a lot of his real equations were suppressed as well. But even Heaviside, even because what he was trying to do is simplify everything down to easy equations. And that's where I've been kind of studying the Heaviside component, where Maxwell touches on it, but he gets way too involved on the mathematics. So, Yeah, it's a pretty interesting. Those guys in the beginning, you have to go back right to the beginning where all these guys started. Steinmetz, Maxwell, Heaviside, Connolly. There's like five or six more. Tesla. All these guys. You have to go back to the beginning, right to the foundation, and you have to study that stuff. It's like
Yeah,
four,
and
14 years of studying just to catch up with those guys.
even Alfred Nobel, people don't know anything about him, but he was another Freemason. He made a fortune out of the death of his own brother. After because he was working on bombs, TNT, I think, and I don't know, his brother died, and he made a fortune afterwards because his brother kind of helped him in the labs, and then he made a fortune, and he invented the Nobel Prize, but um, the
Oh, right.
Nobel,
Yeah. I know who you're talking about now. Yeah.
yeah, and
But like, even look at the Wright brothers when they made their first flight. For like the next 5 years, people in the world still did not believe they actually achieved flight.
yeah,
They went to France to do a demonstration. Everybody's saying, I'll never fly, I'll never fly. And then they're flying around the park and they can't believe their eyes. So, even though that it's already been proven, there will always be naysayers out there that are saying, oh, no, it's impossible. You can never fly. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, they did.
yeah,
But so even when it comes to this physics stuff, somebody can make the claim, oh, yeah, I'm tapping into 0 point energy. Well, nobody at first is going to believe you. It might take 10 or 20 years before your theory might get proven correct. And, and even then, there's always going to be naysayers, right?
yeah, yeah. 100% agree with you. And then, talking about 0 point energy, you'll see in my interview that I'm kind of talking quickly about a form of energy that we completely dismiss. It's
Yeah,
actually a charge. A charge, we can convert charge into energy as well.
right. It's the heavy side component. Yep.
Yeah.
I think the heavy side component has a lot of merit.
So there's a charge to mass ratio. I have my idea, and it's pretty big. The amount of mass you can get out of a charge
Yep.
is pretty huge, and you can create if you can convert the mass into energy afterwards, then it's going to create a pretty dangerous bomb.
Yep.
But I don't. It's a simple equation, but I just want to make sure that I got the.
You know what? The way I look at it, we got enough weapons and we have enough bombs on this planet already. We really don't need any more.
Yeah, yeah,
We have enough nukes to blow up the planet 57 times. So yeah, I think let's cool it down on the weapons a little bit and let's work on
That's
something
why I
that's
think
actually.
most of them are fake.
We need spaceships. That's what we need more of. That's what we don't have. You know.
Well, it's to take control of the resources and to rejuvenate, all the rivers and streams that have been polluted over the years. There's like so much pollution out there that has been man-made that we have to reverse. We have to restore what we've destroyed already. Because the course we're going on right now is a suicide mission. Because if we keep doing this for the next 2, 3, 400 years from now, the planet's not going to be livable. It won't be. You won't be able to sustain life if we keep polluting the waterways and the
yeah,
sky and all that kind of stuff. If we don't change the ways and remove the greed and the ego from the top 1%, the ones that are screwing up the planet as it is right now, and they're doing a very good job of it, then the planet will survive. But the way I see it right now, where the Babylon's going to fall. and it's going to fall real hard.
Yeah, I think if we keep going at the same rate, either it's a suicide mission, as you say, or we're just gonna be enslaved, like like
All
the
of the above.
in
All
a
of the above.
world government and a socialist system, something like that. We're
Yeah, but
just gonna be
it's always going to end in the same way, a bad way
yeah.
in the end.
It's not a good long term strategy to the way it is right now.
See, the problem is you got 1% of the world's population controlling 98% of the world's
Yeah,
economic energy and all this stuff. That's the problem. When you got a small group of people with so much power, that's what makes it so dangerous, and that's why we've been going on this decline. That it's not going to sustain itself. Either we're going to blow the hell out of ourselves, or nature's going to take its course, and a comet's going to come down and wipe us out. So, either we get our act together and fast, and try to expand our capability of survival, because like I said, there could be a comet headed our way and we don't see it yet, but if we had the technology, we could prevent a natural disaster like that. We've had 6-7 major cataclysms on the planet in recorded history. That whole civilizations were almost completely wiped out, gone,
yeah,
wiped out. But we were able to bounce back. Eventually, we bounced back. But our days are numbered. Either we're going to blow ourselves up, or some natural disaster is going to come from space and wipe us out again.
yeah.
You
No,
know,
I 100% agree. That's why I'm motivated to create a spaceship and things like that. I don't see any other
an arc.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but that's definitely a possibility. You say you get the same size asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. Your planet's not inhabitable for the next 500 years. So
yeah.
where are you
But
going to live?
you just need one crazy president, one suicidal president somewhere, and like imagine Putin or
Yeah,
President Xi.
yeah,
Just one, and he can destroy the whole planet.
yep. And
Well,
the thing
as
is,
long as we keep making conventional arms for the crazy guys to shoot each other with, then they won't have to go to the nuke.
yeah. And the thing is, after that happens, the planet's not going to
If
be.
there's no conventional arms for the crazy guys to shoot each other with,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're going to find the next best thing, a nuke. So, but if they
Yeah,
have the conventional arms, they're getting all the toys they want. They have no reason to go to the nuke.
yeah,
Unless
but
they're totally insane.
the thing we keep forgetting also is that you have these kamikaze or suicidal terrorists. They're
Yep.
ready to blow themselves to kill as much people as they can.
Yeah.
So we don't
Oh, God.
suspect them, but we need to be proactive and and anticipate their moves.
Yeah. Well, you know what? All I got to say is we better get our act together, and
There must be something.
pull things together. But I personally think Babylon's going to fall, and when it's going to fall hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not a good situation. So if there's any survivors that have the knowledge that we do, maybe we can make a comeback again, right? Or if Mother Nature's going to do it for us, who knows? But
Yeah.
anyways, I'm going to call it quits for tonight. We did 2 hours tonight. We're going to go live again next Friday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. And yeah, thanks for everybody showing up in the live chat. The live chat was really active tonight. That's great. And Bernie just showed up. Hey, Bernie, we're finished. But yeah, we'll do the show again next Friday. Hopefully, Gerald might be able to join us. I know it's a long weekend this weekend. A lot of people have gone away. But irregardless, we put a pretty good show in tonight. Thanks a lot to the panel, Lulu, Mike, and Philip. Thanks a lot for joining me tonight. And yeah, we'll see everybody soon.
Bye.
See you guys.
Have a great night.
Live
Take
long
it.
and prosper.
That's right. Take care.
Bye.